and Young on Amazon Music.
Alexa, stop. Well, it's 7 January 2026. This is Spencer Keck and my hillbilly think tank here in Hardin County, Kentucky. 10 soldiers in Killin Comin. We're finally on our own, Minnesota. Got to get down to it. Soldiers are gunning us down. Should have been done long ago. What if you knew her and found her dead on the ground? How can you run when you know? ICE agents refused to let a physician render aid to the victim that was shot in the face by ICE today. We're talking about an American citizen being shot. No matter what the guardians of the pedophiles, GOP, tell us, the video footage does not lie. Masked thugs were not acting in self-defense when they shot this 37-year-old American mother. It's a grave day in our nation. What more can we say? What more do we need to see done to American citizens, to defenseless people, to people that are not criminals? How many excuses are we going to hear and listen to? The billions that it is costing this nation this year to put armed thugs into our streets and terrorize citizens and defenseless folks just trying to go to work or just sitting in their vehicle on their street. Now, we've heard all kinds of lies about it. Stuck in the snow. When you look at the streets, there's clearly no snow to be stuck in. These agents were not stuck in the snow. It's obvious. Those streets were clear. The agent is not in the hospital. He ran down the street after shooting this woman 3 times in the head. Ran down the street to pull her out of the vehicle, her dead body. So, yeah. All right, so we got Stuart Gorman on here saying ICE is your daddy. Okay. Not sure who's daddy, but definitely not my daddy. My daddy died from Agent Orange that he received cancer from after fighting 18 months in Vietnam. One of those battles he was in was the Ia Drang. So no, ICE isn't my daddy. Now, can we say, again, this is billions of dollars being spent when we have folks in America that as of 31 December don't have health care anymore. Millions of Americans do not have health care now. Millions of Americans, when they get a diagnosis that is catastrophic, such as cancer, pancreatitis, diabetes, you name it, they're not going to be able to afford to live. We know that the 3%, the 1%, the 5% at the top, they'll survive. They've got the billions. But working class Americans, the poor, and the middle class, we're being squeezed out, crushed out by policies that do nothing but enrich the billionaires. And these billions being spent on the street in American cities for masked thugs to shoot American citizens in broad daylight and at night, because we know what happened in Chicago. Yeah. This is not what American taxpayers should be paying for. Fitz drinks beer, says working class people are getting screwed, so are middle class. Shit, college kids are getting screwed. You're so right. He says that's coming from a Minneapolis native. So, what on earth are we going to do about it? That is the ultimate question. Share says, and I'm from Minnesota. All right. So she's sad about it, obviously. Stuart Gorman. Well, I had definitely disagree with you. The illegals have to go. But okay. So we've got Elon Musk and we have Thiel here in this country, running companies that are going to make every single one of us lose our jobs when AI takes over every single one of our jobs. And yet those immigrants, they're getting to stay and rape our nation. Musk and Thiel are raping our nation, and AI is going to take your jobs. Those are the immigrants that are taking your jobs. That's the truth. That's the fact. Fitz Drink Beer says, illegals are not a realistic problem. Your problem is CEOs that make 1,000 times what the average workers make. Absolute truth. Houses are unaffordable. Another absolute truth. Your kids aren't gonna have nature like you did. Absolute truth. Illegals aren't driving my home costs up. But CEOs making 1,000 times more than the person who's working on the factory floor and trying not to let them have living wages and fighting for them not to get medical care. That's the travesty. That's what's hurting America. Chare. You said, you poor eyes, get them out of here. All right. Gary Carlton thinks that we're all stupid, that we must get our information from The View. Well, you know what? I guess you just get yours from not even Fox News, because Fox News watched this today and said, yeah, sorry, watched every single angle of the videos, and it's obvious the ICE agents were not stuck in the snow. And it's out there. It immediately, every single person that was there in that neighborhood who came out the doors when they heard their neighbors being carted off, they came out and videotaped this from multiple angles, and it's obvious that, yeah, that Shara is right. So if it's not obvious now, what we've got to do, our Congress does not give a flip about us. They don't give a flip about us having health care that we can afford. They don't mind if we die because we're expendable to the billionaire class. They don't care if we can't afford childcare. They don't afford to take care of our kids while we're off working on minimum wage jobs that pay $7.25 an hour if you live in a state where that's the minimum wage or in a city where that's the minimum wage. They don't care that you're going to have to watch a child die because they will be refused medical care. They don't care. They'll spend billions on ICE. They'll spend trillions down in our Venezuela endeavors. Keeping the military down there as long as we are. Yeah, that's what they don't mind paying for. They don't mind giving $40 billion to Argentina to bail them out so they can have universal health care in Argentina. They don't mind giving $14 billion to Israel so they can have universal health care. They don't mind at all. So as Fitz Drink Beer says, stuck in the snow, laughing his ass off or her ass off. I work in the same city. It was 36 degrees today. We had sun and a snow melt. Hilarious claim. And I'm sorry, I've lived in many places that get snow. Here in Kentucky, we get some sometimes, but I lived in Montana before. I've been stationed in Chicago before. I know that was not being stuck in the snow because the streets were plowed. It was obvious they were clear for driving on, not speeding on, but you could drive and not get stuck. Absolutely freaking obvious. So now, all right, every nation in the world that's industrialized, except for us, every first world nation except for us, and it's debatable whether we're first world anymore. Every first world nation, every industrialized nation has health care for all. You pay your taxes, you receive health care. It's a guarantee. And they don't have to die. So I've been going on this day after day, time after time. And it is not obvious that she did not comply with law enforcement, as you're saying, pool fixer. They were giving her contradictory orders. Leave, get out of here. Leave now. Then they tell her to stop while telling her to leave. One of the officers is jumping his body in the door, trying to get her door open and open it from the inside of her vehicle as she's turning away from them. Yeah, no, bunch of hooey. No one needs to be beat down and shot by the cops in this nation anymore. Now it's starting to happen to white folks, as she was. Well, this is going to be interesting. None of us are free until we're all free. So we know that, yeah, actually it's Republicans and Trump, as Shara saying, they don't know how to govern. They cut Medicaid and Medicare and SNAP. They don't care. Trump was partying with naked strippers on Halloween in Mar-a-Lago during the shutdown. You can watch the videos of the strippers. They were in enormous, oversized cocktail glasses at the huge party that Trump had in Mar-a-Lago for the billionaire donors, while the rest of America was suffering under the government shutdown. While people weren't getting snapped, they were starving. He was partying with caviar, steak, and lobsters. Yeah, no, don't believe in any of that. As Shara says, ICE has less training and more time to be trigger happy. They don't have hardly any training now. Used to, not now. Rob Green is thankful to Trump. I don't know if he means that sarcastically or truly. Okay, whatever. Stuart Graham. Well, then everyone has to pay into the healthcare system. Half this nation pay nothing in taxes and or healthcare. Fix that and then we can talk. Well, the billionaires are paying nothing. The middle class is paying everything for the billionaire class, for the military industrial complex, for the agricultural industrial complex, which is screwing over our farmers and our ranchers. But we're supposed to forget all that. We're supposed to forget that these tariffs are driving Kentucky farmers, Kentucky cattlemen out of business. We're supposed to forget that Kentucky bourbon is being driven out and many of our distilleries are going bankrupt. That this year, Jim Beam has announced they're not producing any bourbon for one whole year. We're supposed to forget that. That's what the tariffs did. We're supposed to forget all the policies that are hurting Kentucky, hurting Hardin County, that were shutting down a Ford electric battery plant, the largest in the world, shutting it down here just after we built it because of current policies from this regime. So, yeah. Again, 37-year-old mother, not a terrorist, not doing any harm to those guys who raced up on her. Yeah, not at all. So Shara MLK gets facts from Midas Touch, Ring of Fire, The Young Turks, Fair and Balanced, Tom Powell Jr. and David Bachman. Awesome. So all I can say is it's our time to take America back for the middle class, the working class, and the poor. The billionaire class don't care about us. It's obvious. So we have to take it back. We've got election coming up in November. We've got to vote out the guardians of the pedophiles. We've got to get those Epstein files opened and prosecute all those pedophiles that raped young girls. No ifs, ands, or buts. It is time. If you're not awake at this and you're just going to make any excuse you can for violence to American citizens, remember what a preacher said in Germany. First, they came for the socialists, but I didn't say anything because I wasn't one. Then they came for the trade unionists. I didn't say anything because I wasn't one. Next, they came for the Jews. I didn't say anything because I wasn't one. And then they came for the Roma, the Gypsies. I didn't say anything because I wasn't one. Finally, they came for me, and there's no one to speak for me. Guys, No one is free until we are all free. And we can't be free for being bought and sold as a commodity by billionaires. Now, so Stuart Graham says, maybe I thought you're going to talk solutions to the issue. Well, the solutions to the issue is open the Epstein files, vote out these folks who care nothing about the working class and the poor. And it's obvious they don't. They've made it crystal clear. They've made it crystal clear that they have plenty of money to spend billions of dollars shooting folks in small boats in the Caribbean instead of doing boarding operations and proving and getting evidence for so-called drugs on these tiny boats. They didn't do that. They've been down there spending billions, going to be trillions by the time it's done. And we're told they're going to spend billions more taking over that country for the oil companies. So if you don't know the fucking point there, Stuart, maybe you should buy a fucking clue. Because whether you have problems with both sides, it's only one fucking side that is spending billions and trillions and not releasing the Epstein fucking files. So, Stuart, if it's not fucking obvious, you can come sit in one of my English classes or maybe one of my friends' social studies classes for the middle schoolers, and we can help you learn how to discern facts from fiction. But it's not fucking fiction that Donald Trump abused children. He paid $10 million after raping a teenage boy. He paid that in a settlement. So, if that's not enough for you to say that that's the problem, and yeah, I hate Trump's actions. If you don't hate treating a young man like that, that's a young boy, not just the young girls that he did stuff to. Then okay. Oh, wow. So now you're going to make excuses for Epstein and the Epstein billionaires. It's the Epstein billionaires, all the billionaires that were down hanging out with Epstein and those juveniles. And yeah, crime is at a 30-year low in Memphis and DC before Trump went and sent in the goons. None of it is reducing crime. And the folks who clean the toilets in the hotels, they're not causing crimes in the cities. And the education deficits are from folks who don't pay attention in class. That's what it is. So be it. All right, y'all. Some of us know what to do. Some of us know that repeatedly voting just for folks who sound as if they are patriots, when a matter of fact, they'll sell their grandma or their sister to make a buck or get elected. That's who we got to get out. That's who you got to vote out. It's that simple. And anyone who protects pedophiles is not good for the economy or this nation or for true ethics. That's all there is to it. So, y'all have a great evening. And yeah, absolutely, Stuart Gorman. Anyone who commits an illegal act, all Democrats say send them to jail. We're not protecting them. If there are any Democrats on Epstein Island doing anything to kids, send them to jail. We don't give a motherfuck. Just because we're Democrats, we don't say, oh, protect them. when a senator from Minnesota pretended in a picture to put his hands on someone's breast while he was on a NATO flight. If you don't remember Al Franken, the Republicans immediately got all upset and said, fire him, oh my God. And he resigned. But they're not saying that. We'll put people that did far worse crimes to children. So we don't give a fuck if you're a Democrat or if you're a Republican. If you did shit to children, that's all there is to it. Seth, I think that's going to be my closing comment for the night. Seth says, Jesus called us to be the salt of the earth. What does salt do? Melt ice. All right, y'all. I believe in justice. I believe in fighting crime, not committing crime. But part of not committing crime is not being a pedophile. All right. So get rid of the pedophiles. It doesn't matter what party they're in, but we know right now which fucking party is the guardian of the pedophiles. It's that simple. And if there's anybody in the Democratic Party that was part of the Epstein shit, then they're going to fucking go to jail too. We don't give a fuck. But you guys told us for fucking years that it was only the Democrats that were down there in the Epstein Island. You guys told us this fucking shit about how Hillary Clinton had a pizza parlor where in the basement they were doing shit to kids. There was no fucking basement in that place. And when a dad sadly believed it, went in with an AR to shoot people up, and he got arrested, he found out, oh my God, there's no fucking basement in this place that has been all over the line with the lies. So that's all it is. Stop believing the fucking lies and open our eyes so we can get our economy back where we can be respectable again. We can have people in the world that won't hate us. They'll actually buy our soybeans, buy our bourbon, buy our vehicles, buy our cattle. We shouldn't be buying Argentinian beef in order to sink our cattlemen. But that's what's happening with this administration. So, all right. Guys, in Kentucky, united we stand, divided we fall. In Kentucky, we are our neighbors and our brothers and sisters keepers, because we love our neighbors as ourselves. So, God bless your corazon. That means heart. Have a great evening. And this is one American who has a combat action ribbon or two to prove it from my time in the service. Have a blessed night.